You know what the Federalist said to the Anti-Federalist?
What?
I think we should probably bill you the rights.
Oh my god, terrible.
No. No! No! No!
There goes my faith in humanity.
Alright, welcome to U.S. Government and Politics. I'm Ian Ward.
TJ Dognair.
I'm Alex O'Reilly.
And I'm Max Coleman.
Today we're talking about Federalist versus Anti-Federalist.
Before we can begin to talk about the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, we must first start with how they came to pass. Federalists and Anti-Federalists, the entire argument over it began with a little document called the Articles of Confederation. This was pre to the Constitution and the original form of government for the United States of America. This form of government just did not work. It gave too much power to the state governments, and honestly no power to the federal governments. And this is where our argument began.
One of the flaws of the Articles of Confederation was that a unanimous vote was needed for any amendments to be done. So with this failure, the government decided to make a whole new document.
And because one of the colonies didn't decide to show up, Rhode Island, they couldn't amend the Articles of Confederation. And so instead they just decided to scrap it and create an entirely new foundation for the government, and this was known as the Constitution.
And like all good politics, when forming this Constitution, oh my, did the problems and arguments begin. And this is where two parties were formed.
Just as the Articles of Confederation seek to completely defy the monarchy by making central government have very little to no power, the Constitution did the opposite of the Articles. It created a very strong central government in which they had the power to control.
So with the newly created strong central government, there were many who supported it. There were many who liked the idea of the government being able to control many things. These were known as the Federalists. However, with the Federalists, there were those who opposed this idea and like how it used to, and like the powers that used to be there with the Articles of Confederation, those who also feared the monarchy that we previously had with Britain. These were known as the Anti-Federalists.
The Federalist Party was led by John Adams, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, Rufus King, John Marshall, and George Washington.
The Anti-Federalist Party was led by Thomas Jefferson, Samuel Adams, Patrick Henry, George Mason, and James Monroe.
Let's go to the thought bubble.
The Anti-Federalists felt that the centralized government would take away the basic rights of the people. This is why they felt that the Bill of Rights needed to be implemented with the Constitution. The Anti-Federalist Party was supported by the farmers and the lower class of the United States, the people that were more concerned with their basic rights, versus the Federalists. The Federalists supported a centralized government. They wanted to be in between the Articles of Confederation and the British monarchy, where they had that perfect balance of power and democracy to the people. With this, the elite felt they could run the government without a Bill of Rights, without the individual liberties of the people being guaranteed.
The thought bubble actually brought up a great point. The Bill of Rights. I mean, think about it. It was one of probably the most important and controversial debates between the Anti-Federalists and Federalists.
The Anti-Federalists wouldn't agree to the enactment of the Constitution without the Bill of Rights.
The Bill of Rights wasn't originally written in the Constitution. It was added as the first 10 amendments to the Constitution.
These 10 amendments guaranteed the human rights and liberties of the common man so they could not be restricted by the government.
What happened to TJ? Oh, it must be time for the fireside mystery document with TJ.
Why wait?
Oh, you're here already? Frankly, I did not think you would come this soon. Welcome to the fireside chat. I'm Professor Togneri. I suppose you're here for the mystery document. Shall we get to it then? Let's see what we have today. The want of a Bill of Rights to accompany this proposed system is a solid objection to it. Provided there is nothing exceptionable in the system itself, I do not assert. If, however, there is at any time a propriety in having one, it would not have been amiss here. A people entering into society surrender such part of their natural rights, as shall be necessary for the existence of that society. John Dewey, AntiFederalist papers too. Frankly, you guys need to start giving me more difficult ones. The purpose of that document was to show the country the need of a Bill of Rights in this Constitution so that the government may not restrict them and that the people could live a happy and free life full of liberty.
Thank you, Professor Tagneri. Always appreciated.
No problem.
Where did you come from?
Jeez.
What are you talking about? I'm always here.
Gotta put a bell on or something.
Well, expanding on Professor Tagneri's point on the Anti-Federalist papers, we give John Dewey and all of the others who helped write it to thank for the enactment of the Bill of Rights that guaranteed all of the American citizens their basic liberties.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Bill of Rights is nice and all, but I mean, the Federalists knew what they were doing. You know, even without the Bill of Rights, I think we still would operate similarly to how we do today. You know, like for example, in Federalist 51, a paper written by James Madison, he kind of explains the idea of the separation of powers and checks and balances. You know, where even without the Bill of Rights, with this idea of separation of powers, the government would be able to check itself, so that if one branch of the government was kind of expanding too much on its power and was growing and becoming a bit more corrupt, the other two could check it, making it so that it couldn't really harm it.
Yes, but separation of powers, as stated in Federalist 51, was created to control the government by having checks and balances on itself. Those checks and balances didn't extend to the individuals of the nation.
Well, that's true, but you have to understand that.
Gentlemen, please. You are both correct. For instance, the Federalists, they wanted to control the government. With control of the government, you could lead to control of the people, and the more control you have over the people, the more liberties and freedom you can grant them. The Anti-Federalists were also correct, because in order to gain those liberties that the Federalists would have given if they had control of the government, an actual bill must have been written, and the first 10 amendments proposed by the Anti-Federalists to ratify the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. In conclusion, without both these parties, our future would have looked completely different as it would today. But thanks to them, we formed an easy and fair form of government that protects everyone.